Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Genesis Mindset. So today it's a little bit different. Again, just like last week, it was an emergency episode with the whole SEC. There was a couple of emergency episodes. This particular one, I actually wanted to discuss because it's fresh in the communities, in the Hex and Pulse Chain communities' minds, the interactions we've been having with Lamont Black. So Lamont Black, if anyone doesn't know, is in the highest of stakes. So he's one of the people who believes that Hex is potentially a fraud or a scam. So he is that character in the movie. Well, he's not a character. That's his real personality. He's an economist. He's a professor, and the way he's been interacting with Twitter lately has been fantastic. And I think the way that the Hexicans have been interacting with him, especially, has also been fantastic. So this is something that I wanted to actually highlight, the importance of this. So first of all, obviously there's been a big feat. So I'm just going to go towards sharing my screen. So shout out to your friend Sommi, your friend, my friend. He's all of our friends. And as a matter of fact, kudos to my friend Sommi. I do not have a checkered shirt. So I'm not as intelligent as I may appear to look with this shirt, but I do have a pen in my pocket. So I wanted to just point that out to give myself some credibility here. So he made a video about a comment that a question that I asked to Lamont Black. And thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for highlighting that and going into that. And also, Sommi, I don't know if you watch my videos, you probably don't, but thank you very much also for answering my question with a video last week. So it's been really humbling for me, and it's been really lovely to actually connect with the community in this way and to see how when you put the energy and the time into something, the rewards do come out. And your friend Sommi, I mean, I've been watching his channel slowly grow, interact with all of his videos. His mind is phenomenal. The way he talks, the way he interacts with people, just his heart. You can feel his heart in the way that he communicates with everybody. It's not he's not there trying to screw you over. He's not a maxi. He's big into Hex and Pulse Chain, but he's not a maxi. So I really resonate with his message because I feel very much the same way. I'm in Hex and Pulse Chain because I believe in the products. I believe in the principles behind what Richard Hart has created, and I believe in the community. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be a Hexican till the day I die. It just means that I love the community. I love Hex. I love Pulse Chain, but I don't like identifying myself with I'm a Hexican because I don't like labeling myself as anything in particular. And not that there's anything wrong with that. If that's what you like, that's fine. But what I wanted to highlight here was this interaction with Lamont Black. So I asked this question, and it's created this big back and forth with Lamont Black. I don't know if it's directly created this back and forth. This back and forth has been going on since the movie started. But what I think has really been setting the scene has, again, I mentioned this video last week, but I want to go back to it again. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. Rags on Wolf of Wall Street's Hex, Not a Scam. So he spoke to Scott Melker, who basically rejected talking to Richard Hart for many years. And Brandon from Rags to Riches and Gary FundingGym, they went on there and they had a fantastic conversation with Scott. Now, I think one of the main reasons why Scott actually invited them on was because of the way that they conducted themselves in the spaces that was with Mario Newfall the week before. And I think the way that they conducted themselves was phenomenal. I think the way that Rags and FundingGym from day one have represented the community is fantastic. The way that they talk is very calm, very collected, very reasoned. So it really gives a good impression on what the Hexicans are. Like, it's not just people who are, especially in the highest of stakes, I have heard that it portrays Hexicans as very kind of really dumb in a way. And this is basically how a lot of the cryptocurrency community outside of Hex actually portrays the Hexicans. And I also want to be part of that voice that shows that we're not all like that. We're a diverse range of human beings that exist within a community bonded under these common principles that we're trying to follow in cryptocurrency, which Richard Hart has basically spread out into the world. We all resonate with that, but Richard Hart's created a product that actually collaborates us and unites us all and allows us to coexist. So if you haven't seen this, please see this. And the whole reason why I wanted to do this episode today was because I wanted to continue setting the scene for what it means to actually communicate now with the wider cryptocurrency ecosystem. But it's not just about the cryptocurrency ecosystem, what it actually means to communicate as a human being from one human to another human. And so the reason why I wanted to cover this as well, especially, is I have been writing on my blog, for example. So I have how to win friends and influence people. I used to have a lot of social anxiety. So even me being on the cameras is crazy. Me putting myself out like I do. I'm all over TikTok, Instagram, now on Twitter, now on YouTube. And I'm putting my face out there. I'm putting my voice out there. I'm putting my opinions out there. 10 years ago, before I started meditation, I was so full of social anxiety. There's no way that I would have been able to do this. But by the process of actually clearing my mind from that anxiety that was stored in there, I've actually been able to overcome that condition and have confidence to actually do these sorts of things. And How to Win Friends and Influence People was a book that I read many years ago. But I was never really able to fully apply the principles. And so now I'm actually applying those principles. I'm rereading the book again because my mind is clear. I don't have all that anxiety anymore. So I can really apply those principles. So I'm reflecting on that. So if you are interested in how I was actually able to do that, you can go to my website, coexistentstephen.com, and you can find it there. And the principles in this are timeless. And I think this is something that I really want to highlight. Again, going back to Rags, I'll call him Brandon, really has spoken about how this community grows now. So the whole intention of HEX to begin with was to appear like a scam to attract those people into it. That was stage one. Stage two was the outrage marketing. So we have those caliber of people that are in here, the people who really, I'll be honest, the people who are probably in for the pump and dump. And I'm here for money as well. We're all here for money. So let's not shy away from that fact. But what you're attracting is what you're going to get out of it. Now, Brandon is saying that basically the next level up of this community is actually going out into the world and communicating with people outside of the community in very intelligent, thoughtful ways. And I think and I want to show this video because Gary has really set the scene for that. Altcoin Daily. I loved Altcoin Daily until they really started to denounce HEX, and it really pissed me off because they weren't being objective. They were just basically saying it was a scam and they didn't trust it. They didn't really do any research, and they were basically fudding the bags. And I really didn't like that because, well, I have HEX, it's fudding my bags, but I also didn't think it was objective. But you see the work that people like Gary have done in actually communicating and connecting with these types of people. I mean, you've seen now the change of tone that the guys from Altcoin Daily have actually had towards HEX. It's very subtle, but they're more objective now. They're more unbiased. And I think, it's such a beautiful thing. And now with Lamont Black, the way that he's communicating with the Hexicans, this is what I wanted to highlight. The dichotomy. So the old way, which is the normal way of humans communicating. If anyone's ever played a video game or just anything, like, there's so much ego in humans, and it pisses me off. And actually, the other day on the 48-hour stream, I was hearing a lot of different points of views, and Freddie Quotes was actually saying how he used to have a lot of conflicts because of his ego with certain Hexicans. And when they actually sat down and spoke to each other, they overcame that. And I think that's such a beautiful way because you're really connecting with that person from the heart. And another good example is this particular one. The professor is in. So Matty Allen has covered this as well in his show, Hex Therapy Live. And he actually spoke about the CEO of Nomics, Clay Collins, who appears in The Highest of Stakes. And he used to have a show, The Quant Gang, that got basically disbanded because Wales Only didn't like Clay Collins, because Clay Collins then was going to come on Matty Allen's show, and Wales Only thought that Matty Allen sold out. And so that perspective, I love you, Wales Only, but that perspective is really, it's a very narrow perspective. It's really limiting. It's not embracing. It's not open. There's two ways to communicate with people. It really doesn't matter what words you say. It's how you say the words. It's the mind that you have behind that, whether you have love and openness and acceptance in your mind and positivity in your mind to want to connect and want to see from the other person's perspective, or if you have the perspective of, I am right, I know everything, I'm the best. If you have that perspective, I'm sorry, that is the old consciousness. That is the old way of humans existing. That is the false mind. That is the way that humans have lived forever. That causes all the wars, all the crime, all the rape, all the murder, every single problem, theft, every single problem, every argument is ever created from this perspective. When you actually deal with a person with the right mind, with no mind, with a clean and pure mind, Then with an open heart and an open mind, you can connect with that person. You can see from their perspective. And what is more beautiful than that? And this is the kind of scene that I think we as Hexicans, whoever has that within them to actually embrace other communities, get out there and connect. That's what I'm doing in this YouTube channel. Yes, I'm going to be talking about Hex, but this channel is about mindset as well and helping all of the cryptocurrency, because we're all in this together. At the end of the day, I'm sick of tribalism. I'm sick of XRP versus Hex or Bitcoin versus Ethereum. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over Australia versus China, America versus Russia. Over it. Don't give a shit about it anymore. That's the old mindset. These are these imaginary divided boundaries. That's not coexistence. We are all one mind. And that's why when you say things with the right mind, the other person can feel that and they respond also with the right mind, because that is the true mind. That's the mind that lies underneath everything. That's the energy that flows between everything. So if that touches your heart and it resonates, then please follow, like, subscribe, and especially on Twitter, please help me build up that following. I'm slowly building up on all the platforms, and I would really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Let's do this together.